donate to my Cash App. Message me on Instagram. Donate to my Cash App if you want to send me some resin money. Hey yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about resin. I'm going to be talking about my experience with it. I'm going to be talking about the stuff that you might need. I'm going to be talking about some tips and some tricks. And yeah, so this video is like really aimed towards the beginners to resin. It's aimed towards the people who are either just beginning or the people who haven't even done resin yet, but they're kind of thinking about it, but they don't know, and it's like a whole thing. And yeah, it's enjoyable. Let me just say, if you're thinking about trying it, just try it. And in case you're wondering my experience with it, I've done quite a few castings. I've done quite a few projects as well. What I count as a project is if you're casting more than once, sort of thing. Like this project is literally my name made of resin, casted inside of resin. I've still got to complete this lower bit here. And you know, this worked pretty well. I've still got to take out the molds and everything, but you know, it's like I said, it worked pretty well. I've casted multiple colors of resin together. This is literally 2 different batches of resin that I've poured at the same time to make it like a cool blue and red effect. And not only that, but I've also casted white on top of that. So this is what I would call a multi-casting project. I've casted metal inside of resin. You know, I would say my experience with it is really good. But yeah, it's super fun and nice. In terms of the things you need for resin, one tip I have is get all the stuff you need from the get-go. Like, what I mean by that is, like, don't skimp out, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I know it'll be more expensive from the beginning, but it's better to have the stuff then than have to buy it later and wait for it, sort of thing. So yeah, obviously first thing you're going to need is the resin. I use epoxy resin, and I use a 1-to-1 ratio resin. This one is by Mopa Crafts, if you guys can see that. These bottles were like £15, not each, they come together. It was about £15. One thing that I must say is this one was 15. The old one I had was by a company called Dai, or Dai. It was DAYI. That was less than half of this, and it was £12. So for only £3 extra, you got double the amount, and it's actually a really good quality resin. It's so runny that like all you gotta do is let it sit for a minute, and literally all the bubbles inside it float straight to the top. But I almost spilled my not spilled, but I almost almost dropped my bottles. But yeah, so for the stuff that you need from the get-go, in my opinion, you're going to need obviously resin. You're going to need a mixing cup, preferably made of silicone so the resin doesn't stick to it. You're going to need mixing sticks, like wooden popsicle sticks. You can get them like in a 100 pack for like £3 or whatever. That's actually what I got. I got 100 of them, and I just put them in like a bag. In terms of the mixing cups, you can get disposable, but I prefer silicone just because I think it's worth your money more, sort of thing. And the last thing you're also gonna need a mask. Now, if the area you're working in is well ventilated, like even if it's ventilated to just the point where you have a window open with a fan blowing, that's enough. Like at that point, you can actually use the masks you use when you go out, like because of Corona, we got masks, you know. You can actually wear those masks if your area is well ventilated. That's what I use. But if your area isn't ventilated, please wear ones with like a filter, like a respirator mask, I believe they're called. I don't use one, so I don't know about them. Like, I don't know if you need a specific type of filter or anything like that. You know, I'm just telling you what I use, sort of thing. I use a surgical one, you know, ones that I use during Corona and stuff. And yeah, and molds. Listen. Buying molds is like an addiction. You keep buying them, you know. And people ask, like, is it better to have like small molds, like of, let's say, like, you know, you get like those molds that have like 50 gummy bears on it, and you can make like 50 gummy bear style like silicone castings. Listen, get the main mold. Like, my main molds is of letters and numbers, coasters, like these coasters, you know, you put your cups on them and stuff when you're having a drink and whatever. And also I got a new one recently of knives. It's got like knives and daggers. It's super cool. I'm definitely going to be showing you guys some projects with that. You know, that would be what, those are like the main big molds, you know. And then what I suggest on the side is get small ones. You know, like I said, you can get the ones of gummy bears. Those are a bit too small. I did find one on eBay of like tiny little crystals. You know, that would be pretty cool if you had some glitter to put in that. Like, you brush glitter in there, or powdered mica powder. I mean, coloured mica powder. And then you put resin on that. I've got one of like little dinosaurs. They're actually super cool and cute. What else do I have? I think those are the only small ones that I have. I have the dinosaurs, and maybe the letters one that might work. But yeah, so like, molds is so. And by the way, once you get into the hobby of resin, you're constantly going to be searching for molds and cups and all kinds of things. So, you know, be prepared to spend a couple of quid on molds. Resin is already quite an expensive hobby. So yeah, now time for the tips and tricks. First thing, mix slow. Don't be in a hurry. Don't grab your cup, grab your stick, and just start mixing like you're whisking an egg. Don't do that. Like, mix it slow. Remember to scrape the sides, you know, of the cup. Remember to scrape and get on along the bottom and stuff. Another thing I would recommend is when you measure like your resin, because like I said, mine is a 1-to-1 ratio. You gotta do it equal amounts, otherwise it won't cure right. If you don't mix the right amount, depending which one is more, it's gonna affect how it cures. So far, my experience is I don't put enough hardener in it. That's my most common mistake, is I don't put enough hardener, and then when it ends up curing, it's like flexible, because it's got more resin than hardener, you know. What else? Another tip. This is more about like how well you are with like money and stuff. Try and get the best quality you can. Like, so far, the Mopa Crafts one, this is a little bit more expensive, but this is higher quality. Like I said, once you mix it, you leave it for like 2 minutes, and almost all the bubbles, I would say a good 95% of the bubbles, they float to the top and they pop, they go. So yeah, it really depends on the equipment you can get. I wish I could tell you that like you don't need the best equipment, but nah, you kind of do. I'm sorry. But you know, like I said, those were 15 quid, so whatever. I actually need some more soon. Donate to my Cash App. Message me on Instagram. Donate to my Cash App if you want to send me some resin money. But yeah, what else? When you're putting stuff inside of resin, like I'm talking about glitter and like dried flowers and all this kind of madness, less is more. Don't overdo it, especially with coloring. You know, at least when you're starting, the less crowded and less intrusive all the things are, the better. It looks so simple and nice. Another thing I'm gonna say is this one's controversial because this really depends on your safety, like how safe you're willing to go before it's dangerous. One thing I'm gonna say is if you're gonna be putting stuff inside resin a lot, buy some gloves. You know, people say you need nitrile gloves, but like literally, if you're just gonna be touching it for like a couple of seconds and taking the glove off, get some just normal latex gloves. They are a little bit expensive. I personally don't have any. Well, I have the pair that came with the resin, but like I don't have a whole box of gloves. Just because I believe that, like me myself as a crafter of resin, like I don't get that much on my hands anyway, and when I do, I wipe it off straight away. If you get it on your hand or anywhere, first of all, if it gets on your clothes, chuck the clothes away. Take them off, chuck them away. It's not worth trying to clean it, because once the resin gets in fabric, it's so hard to clean. Oh my word! It once got in my trousers, and dude, I was there for like half an hour trying to get it out, and in the end, I was just like, nah, I can't do this. So, I wouldn't recommend that. What are some other good precautionary tips? Oh yeah, if any gets on your skin, instantly wipe it up and then wash your hands with a good soap. I know people say that Dawn soap cuts through resin. I don't use Dawn, but like in my experience, any generic soap works. Dish soap, by the way. Some people say also need to use isopropyl alcohol and stuff. I personally don't. But you know, it's totally up to you. It depends on how safe you feel using it. But yeah. Another thing, don't ingest it. You know, like I technically you could once it cures, but don't go making like spoons and bowls out of resin, because like if you ingest that, it can give you some pretty bad health conditions type thing. I think that about covers it. So yeah, in terms of tips, the big one, this is in terms of the actual casting, not your health, not anything. After you mix it, let it sit for a minute or two, just so all the bubbles can float to the top. Because pretty much all resin, this is like pretty much all resin. Obviously the one I have right now is so thin they pop on their own. But with most resin, after the bubbles float to the top of the cup, or the top of like the surface of the resin, you can actually use your stick to like pop them. Like you push the bubbles along to the side and then pull them up the side of the cups, and it pops them, you know. But yeah, I think that's about it. Apart from that, just remember to keep everything clean. If you do want to use coloring and stuff like that, what type of coloring you use, like whether it's mica powder, alcohol ink, any of that kind of thing, it does affect how it looks. Alcohol ink, like even if you use black, it does tend to look see-through if you put it to the light, you know. Mica powder is very opaque, you know, is that you cannot see through it. But yeah, so that's going to be my video on resin. I know I kind of rambled a little bit, like I rambled along a little bit, you know. If it was up to me, I would honestly be doing like an hour long video. I could talk about resin all day. I love it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you learned something, remember to give me a thumbs up. Remember to like, subscribe. I'll see you later. Peace out, guys.